Hello, everyone. We're ready for our first September recording.
Yeah, that's true. Summer has ended, and this is episode 10.
Alex has once again been away on travels.
Yeah,
This time Lithuania.
I've spent a month eating mama's food and just enjoying the slow life of like working in the co-working and then enjoying the beach and the forest and the nature. But now back to business. And there are quite some interesting news we have gathered. The main topic of today is going to be networking and building professional relationships and starting a business with that. But before we start, we have some weird news. We realized that I have the uppers, Raval has the downers when it comes to the news. So I guess we can start with more of a positive piece of news. And I have found there was actually a piece of news released not so long ago, I think it was like a week ago. It's Japan is encouraging businesses to adopt 4-day work week as a strategy to combat labor shortage and improve work-life balance. So the government basically started supporting this back in 2021, but it was very slow progress because just culturally, in my understanding, Japanese people do not have that relaxed culture of working. So what they were waiting for is for the data to come in, and it never came. And they basically said, okay, starting from this year, what they're going to do, they're going to start offering consulting services and grants, basically, to companies to enforce it a little bit. Well, not enforce, but
Incentivize it.
Yeah, exactly, to incentivize it. And they, for example, did a quick survey and realized that out of 63,000 eligible employees in Panasonic, only 150 employees opted in for a 4-day work week.
Well,
so they basically say, okay, the proponents argue that the shorter work week would help retain workers, parents, caregivers, providing flexibility in the calendar, and that one extra day off will allow to manage personal appointments and spend the quality time with family. So initiative is focused on fighting this phenomenon that they actually recognize on the governmental level called karoshi. And karoshi is death by overworking.
yeah.
And many, many years ago, I think maybe like even 10 years ago, they put it in the legislation that this is a real problem they want to recognize on the governmental level. So this is another initiative of making, a week a little bit shorter, which I think is very cool.
Japanese work culture is very tough on some aspects, but then they have these small dots of optimistic work life in the sense of like you're allowed naps. You can just
Work.
Yeah, you can just kind of lay your head down and nap in the middle of work, and it's considered like, oh, this is this person decompressing, stuff like that. But it's just a very workaholic country as well, from what I've heard.
That's true. So this was one piece of news. And then do you want to mix it up with some downers?
This one's not so much a downer. It's a downer for whoever got fired. But did you hear about the movie Megalopolis?
No.
Okay, it's a Francis Ford Coppola movie. It's dystopian sci-fi, something. The topic of the movie doesn't matter. What matters is during the trailer, they wanted to get people to watch the movie despite the fact that it's been getting negative press. And one of the ways they did that was to put some quotes in the trailer, the post-release trailer. And what happened was somebody used AI to try to find quotes, and the AI just kind of made them up. And that guy has been fired. They were all these quotes that were either from for other movies,
So there was no research or like background research.
Francis Ford Coppola directed Apocalypse Now, and he directed The Godfather. So the quotes from those movies got lumped in because AI just wasn't differentiating. It just saw Francis Ford Coppola and she wanted to give a response rather than give a limited response. It gave a maximalist one where it just hallucinated a whole bunch of quotes as well.
So what now?
The guy has been fired, like I said.
They're changing it?
I think they put the trailer down. I haven't checked yet.
Okay.
But this is the internet. Nothing stays down.
Fair enough. Someone already probably downloaded it somewhere and it's ended up somewhere on Fortune.
Yeah, that's probably all over the place on the Wayback Machine as well.
That's also a good point. Yeah, well, my next piece of news, you probably heard this one. I know you don't like crypto, but you do love free speech. Do you know Pavel Durov?
Yeah.
So he was arrested in France when he basically arrived there on August 24th. And upon arriving from Azerbaijan, his detention is part of an investigation involving multiple serious allegations, including complicity, drug trafficking, child pornography, and organized crime, although it has not been formally charged with any crimes yet. So he was basically, it's speculation, allegedly, when he boarded the plane to go to Paris, they spun up quickly his arrest warrant while he was still in the air.
In limited time to catch somebody if they're going to leave the country.
Right.
But yeah.
But it's so weird because he got pushed out of his own business, which is called VK, Vkontakte in Russia. He left to Dubai and he got a Dubai citizenship, I think. And he has a French citizenship before the war started even. So they granted him one. And now everyone's like, oh, they granted him that because they wanted to ask him for Telegram app that is completely anonymous. Yeah, this is what he's being charged for Telegram being criticized for its light touch content moderation.
It's not. It doesn't have proper end-to-end encryption. I read about this.
Yes, so
they describe it as having that, but it's actually not very good, and it's like false advertising.
He has the keys, right? So he has like a master key.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I'm not 100% sure. And having that master key, he can unlock things and unlock chats. Therefore, the French government, on many occasions, it's a speculation, asked him to provide that to fight the organized crime, child trafficking, drug lords who use Telegram. And they said, oh, can you please give us the keys so we can see who are they, if they have like any kind of connection, phone numbers, are they part of other groups from this organized crime? So basically, it didn't happen. So Durov, who was positioning himself as a champion of free speech, faces this potential diplomatic fallout, even though France or French President Macron emphasizes that this arrest is not politically motivated, framing it as a part of ongoing judicial investigation. So Durov was released on bail. I think it was €5 million or dollars after 4 days in custody, but remains under investigation. He has to go to the police to check in twice a week that he hasn't left France. So the implications of this case extend beyond Durov, so highlighting the ongoing global struggle over the regulation of social media, because you can the same way arrest anyone. Why Elon Musk is still not arrested? Have you seen what's happening on X? Why is he not in jail? Why France did not arrest him? Is he helping them? There's this website, it's called transparency.com, or used to be, where they would record every time let's say NYPD, some sort of police department of some states would ask for information. They would say, we gave it to them, or no, we didn't give it to them. And they would put it on the website that the request has came in. And they called it a part of the transparency of, that they're not selling users' data to police or FBI or something like that.
I mean, Twitter is slightly different beast than Telegram is. For one thing, Telegram's mostly used as a person-to-person chatting thing, and that data isn't publicly available. But Twitter's data is mostly publicly available. If you post something there, it's going to show up on Twitter feed.
Yeah, well,
that's kind of the opposite,
But you can use it as a chatting service as well on Twitter, right? Because you can write DMs easily. And in Telegram, they use groups.
Yep.
So they create a group that you can join, and you can search for a group. You can join over like a Facebook group and just chat in there and get updates and post from others or like admin.
Yeah.
There are two types. I know the one where you all can chat, and the other one you can only read whatever is happening. So like the news, whatever people are publishing.
Yeah, but I'm all for free speech, but there's something kind of skeevy about the and trust me, I would throw Elon Musk in jail in a heartbeat as well. But but there is something skeevy about having like child groomers running around on groups and sharing illicit videos and things like that.
But I'm pretty sure it happens on every social media to some extent.
I think on Facebook, for example, you get banned instantly if you even do that. Certain links just won't pass through even. They use an AI to filter out sensitive materials. it instantly gets flagged.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure those are more secure, but Telegram's like really lax, which is why,
They call it a functionality, not a bug.
But at the same time, I'm also like, just, I don't know, you guys gonna arrest the guy or ban the app or what?
Right? But they cannot. They cannot. They could have actually, France could have banned the app in the whole country and say, okay, now it's illegal to use this app. Please don't use it. And then that's it. Therefore, why saying, no, you can use the app, but if the guy comes in, we're going to arrest him for that. But the app is still valid and you can use it. You can download a VPN. I think it's not the guy's fault that is being used in the wrong way. Everyone has a kitchen knife and a hammer, but no one's, walking around killing each other every day.
I mean, but at the same time, I'm like, he's a rich Russian. There's gonna be something a bit wrong there.
Wow, yeah, you're just like, you're just lowered and down to like basics. You know what? He's a rich Russian. Might as well.
I meant more like he has a strong oligarch energy,
Fair.
There's something wrong about him.
Macron couldn't handle it.
Well, we wish him the best.
Fair.
Let's see. One of my other stories on here. Oh, this is a pretty fun one. So you're familiar with neural networks, right? Yeah. Can you explain it to the audience? Because I have a hard time explaining it.
Neural networks is basically a lot of computers that talk to each other and they have a different processing, some sort of algorithm, I think.
Yeah. It's similar to AI, but not exactly that. So neural networks do a lot of processing really quickly. And so what ends up happening is they can generate stuff in real time rather than having a preset program. And it's a bunch of, there was this company, they did a test demo and they fed in a lot of data from the video game Doom, the classic one. And they created a version of Doom that's being constantly generated in real time as you're playing it. And I think that's pretty cool.
I've seen this one. I've seen this news from a guy as well who is super computer geek on YouTube. And he woke up at 5 a.m. and he saw this guy playing Doom with, I think it was 20 FPS. So it was a little bit laggy. However, because it's automatically generated and it's not running, I think, on any server or anything like that, he said, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's really interesting because the generated stuff, I've only seen a few seconds of it, like 40 seconds or so, but it's realistically recreating Doom levels in that same style. So it's interesting to look at. And I mean, I think of the implications of this for like indie games and things like that. It could be quite incredible because there's already games that have generative maps that are like randomized in certain ways. You could streamline that process really quickly with this and make the variables more complex so it isn't as repetitive as a lot of those games sometimes can be. I'm a big Persona 3 player, and what happens in that game is you start getting really tired once you enter a floor, and even though it's generative, they look a bit samey. You could insert so many more variables with this and create something that's generative but still far more vast and far more creative.
I like the fact that it's automatically generated. You don't have to prompt it anything.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the images and videos from the Unreal Engine, the latest one. Yeah. It looks so realistic. It looks as if it's in real life, as if someone's filming. However, you still have to tell what is the environment. So I've seen this third-person game, and there was basically a character walking through it, and it's in the forest, it's a jungle, and they started showing how they can continuously generate a map by just adding a road and saying, hey, this is a road and you're in the jungle, and then they would just like drag as if a simulation, or like, I don't know, like in Sims, you could dig a hole or build a hill or a mountain by clicking on it. So they would do the same thing in Unreal Engine, and they would generate any type of environment. And then you can say, okay, make this environment now snow, and this it like changes and it's snowy now. So, but they had to prompt it. It's not automatically generated. You still have to build a map. However, you can manipulate it much easier. So you can make the same path when you're in the jungle in a game,
Yeah.
you can change the environment into snow and no one would notice that it's a different turn, even though it's the same one, just because the environment changed.
Yeah.
And it looks so realistic. And they also basically saying that the bar now is lowered for game developers to create these amazing visuals and experiences in the game, which I think is pretty cool. Another cool one about gaming, I saw that you can game on blockchain. So apparently a lot of the...
Before we dive into that, I wanted to say two things. One was, this is still to be peer reviewed. So
okay.
let's not jump really ahead. And since that's a very short amount of footage, you don't know what the failures look like.
That's also a good point.
So let's not misinform people as well. It's exciting, but also wait for the peer review.
It's the first time, right? It's just the first test that was successful.
Yeah.
I've seen on blockchain what they did as well with gaming. They use these like dedicated servers that would just as well host the game, and would basically be like a hosted server of the game from multiple places. I had Stadia from Google before, and Stadia was amazing because I didn't have money to buy a PS5 or PS4 or any kind of console. So, okay, I'm going to subscribe for, I think, 10 euros or something and get a controller and play on my TV or my laptop the games that are not super heavy. All you need is a fast internet. And I found that to be actually very cool as well.
My annoyance with the blockchain gaming people, the games aren't made, they're made to be repetitive. So it can easily generate stuff. And, the blockchain can just grow bigger. And they don't make for entertaining games.
No, that's true. You're
like,
absolutely right.
Like games have some grindathons in them, but the entire point is never the grind.
It should be the experience and the story. Yeah, I totally agree. It's not the entertaining part. It's more the technological part that you can do that.
It's an interesting model, but also, man, I go to games to escape work.
That's true. You don't want to grind.
So you heard about this, all right, I'll just start from the beginning then. There was this Chinese company that were showing off humanoid robots at an exhibition. And the thing is, it was all a lie. There were people inside the robots.
Why am I not amazed?
They turned out to be human women cosplaying as futuristic gynoids. Presumably hired by the animatronic company X Robots. We're not sure like whose idea this was, but definitely the company is responsible.
Can you pre-order, I guess, a robot wife or something like that? Do you know what happened? Like who caught them?
A reporter just said, "Hey, this is clearly people."
Oh, so it was not even, they were not trying hard.
It looked like something from like Xenogears, Xenosaga, and robots, like really flashy Ghost in the Shell looking type women, but they were, it's clearly people, you know? It looks like an impressive feat if you're really, really gullible.
Oh my God.
People should look up the video at some point. The company is called X Robots. They hired 2 women to cosplay as robots, and they kind of just didn't mention that they were women, hoping people would just believe that. But they also have like plausible deniability about it.
That's a very bad PR stunt, I would say.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then there was many people think that these are all robots without realizing they're actually 2 human beings cosplayed as robots among the animatronics. So there were a whole bunch of robots, and then just 2 women told to like do the robots right there, do the dance. You heard about this? Twitter got banned in Brazil.
No, I did not hear that.
It happened this morning.
Really? No, I did not see that.
Yeah, an ongoing legal row over accounts allegedly spreading disinformation has escalated from Elon Musk and between Elon Musk and Brazil's top court.
Wow.
So
someone got upset.
Yeah, access was completely suspended, and people flocked to Blue Sky and Threads after that. Like the entire Blue Sky timeline was flooded with Portuguese at some point, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I've seen somewhere a meme where this is the average Twitter-looking user, and then they showed a bunch of Russian military sitting behind screen and saying, yes, the both political parties are all the same. Yes, I would vote for Trump. And just like a bunch of memes of Russian military or Russian policemen sitting behind screens. Average Twitter user. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think sometimes countries, when they get too upset, this is actually the same as Pavel Durov. Country got upset that the guy did not give them the keys to unlock some chats. They're like, you know what?
Well, in this case, they were saying there's a whole bunch of fake news accounts, and they have like verified check marks and so on.
Tell me more. Facebook has the same.
Yeah, but they asked them like, what are your moderation policies? Blah blah blah. This. They opened an inquiry into this against Musk. And he refused to
do anything.
He
should be arrested, just like Durov when he goes to Brazil.
He's a bit outside of Brazil's pay grade.
Fair. That's nice. Talking about social media, I've seen a report that states that social media use is declining. So global decline in usage, there is this tool that I actually use.
What I wanted to still cover about that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So internet firms must have a legal representative in Brazil. They act as like a go-between between government and the corporation. So Twitter doesn't have one because the site shut down its offices in Brazil earlier. The part of Elon Musk's skimming the fat. And so they didn't have a representative on that side, and they're just like scrambling against this judge. Soon we expect the Judge Alexandre de Moraes will order Twitter to be shut down in Brazil simply because we would not comply with his illegal orders to censor his political opponents. X's global affairs account claimed in the post. These enemies include a duly elected senator and a 16-year-old girl, among others. Musk quoted that post and alleged that Moraes is an evil dictator cosplaying as a judge. Great.
Crazy. I don't know, it's back to people being just upset of not having control over things. I remember iPhone in Russia was also lacking functionality that normally everyone in the US has, just because Russia refused to have databases from Apple on their territory that would not be controlled by them or by the employees who are basically Russians or locals. And they did not allow putting those databases. And that's why some functionality is not working in Russia when it comes to an iPhone. So I understand where it's coming from, but also, if you want to be a country that actually controls your citizens, I think that's just the only way to go is to.
I don't know. It's a bit more complicated than that. The way Twitter is set up right now, it incentivizes lying just completely. You get even more clicks by spreading disinformation, and if you become a disinformation peddler rather than a social media account, and people are constantly using it for the really harmful propaganda, using it to organize a coup in Brazil as well. They kind of got attacked. They staged a coup, I can understand they'd want to say like, hey, can you do something about this?
And they said no, so he should be arrested in Brazil.
And now, I'm not saying it's not a difficult conversation to have, but I'm also just tired of political instability and lies everywhere. I'm tired of seeing the patriots organize in America and just try to overthrow the government. And this isn't even a political show,
Yeah, but this is why maybe it's a good thing that the global decline in usage on social media is happening.
And I think it's going back towards personalized social media, Like Instagram is very much more like, I'm just going to broadcast what I think. It's not so much about the communication side unless you're messaging.
You can still spread fake news and stuff. It's also quality-wise. So yeah. I have 5 reasons here why the social media usage is declining. And one of them you actually already mentioned, which is the perception of quality.
Yeah.
So there was a report by the Gartner that states that 53% of consumers believe the quality of social media platform has deteriorated compared to previous years.
Mhm.
So the prevalence of misinformation, toxic interactions, bots are cited in significant factor contributing to its decline. So literally what you said now is that the quality sucks. It's basically toxic people. I mean, it can be funny as well, though, but that they believe that the social media platforms, they have, degraded a little bit on the quality side and the fake news. The other trend is that the Gen Z spends on average 2 hours and 51 minutes daily on social media. Many are actively seeking to reduce their social media time, about 30%. That was back in 2023.
Yeah.
So the generation is increasingly concerned about the social media habits, leading to rise in private profiles due to privacy concerns as well. So Reddit is probably going to be growing more and more because people are, as you said, flocking to these very tight communities.
Yeah.
And in general, there's a report from Global Web Index that daily social media usage has decreased in 36 out of 48 markets since 2022.
Yeah.
And during the decade, they also forecast that by 2025, nearly half of the consumers will significantly limit their social media interactions. The concerns about also AI role in content generation and its potential to spread misinformation further exacerbates users' distrust from the platforms.
Yeah.
I think it's a positive direction.
Mostly positive. I often think about how much of how many of these things are bubbles, you know?
Like what?
Maybe this form of social media is a giant bubble and everybody ran into it and it's going to burst.
I'm pretty sure Facebook is missing their revenue quarters, so they're not reaching their monies.
This is the first decline they had, right? And
No, I don't think so.
not a decline, but like first time they didn't experience growth or something.
Yeah. So if you see 30% limits on usage, and then you have more and more companies that are like, oh, we have to spend millions of euros on advertising because, people are still spending 3 hours a day on social media. However, the quality of that is complete garbage. I've seen somewhere reports that this is from 2023, that on average on mobile phone, people spend around 4 hours or something like that. And in the end of the year, if you basically take 4 hours every day, it equals to 70 days. 70 days a year we spend on our mobile phone, which is insane. Even though I'm okay with that, especially if it brings me some sort of happiness, if it's not doom scrolling.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy when I'm reading Reddit and I'm discovering something, or I'm watching a video or listening to a podcast. I use navigation. Coming to you also use navigation, so therefore it is mobile usage on average. So it makes my life much easier. So I do not mind. So I think it's actually a very good trend. And maybe even Telegram and Facebook and X, if they're going to get sued and locked up, maybe it's going to be actually a great detox.
Oof. I'm not much of a social media user anyway. Like not
in a traditional way.
Not in a traditional way, honestly. I basically only use Facebook Messenger to communicate with family, and I use I barely open my Instagram unless it's for messages as well. I'm just there like chatting to people in the back, and I'm barely posting it or adding to the content.
Yeah, fair. Do you want to move to the main topic?
We should. Yeah. Speaking of social networks,
yeah. Tell me.
Now we're gonna have to talk about networking.
Yes. So I have 5 parts to it as well, and I kind of split it up into how do you want to build your network and how do you build your basically relationships. And I discovered while writing this and summarizing that it's not only about networking. It really helps in normal relationships in your life, be it kind of romantic relationship as well, because the first one was authenticity and value. So you've seen those sales guys who are like, oh, you have to be a sales guy, you have to make your bonus, and you have to really grind someone's brain of making them feel that there's a problem that they have to solve and buy your service. In networking, say, was relationship building. So you have to approach it as authentically and sincerely as you can, because people obviously settle, like you can sense when someone's trying to sell you shit. So you have to be interacting with people in a meaningful way. And instead of focusing on building the relationship in a salesy way, you have to kind of try to avoid that and be genuine and interested in people you meet, listen actively, understand their needs, challenges, and goals. And basically, this approach allows you to offer more value in return. And this is the key of sustaining professional relationships, is to, again, not to fake it, be authentic, and actually obviously add value. Because if I'm trying to sell you something that you don't need, or we're trying to build a relationship that which is one way, it's not going to work.
I always feel like this kind of advice is very surface level. You can say to someone, be authentic, but then it's just like, yeah, how?
I authentically need to sell this, otherwise I get fired.
Not that authentic.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think networking is fairly human. That's why these things sound like such vague. They sound like relationship advice. They sound like yeah. Networking does require having some some human capability, just in terms of interaction. But at the same time, you're always gonna be there selling something to someone. So how you can only be so authentic.
Well, selling, I wouldn't say selling. We have a relationship, right? And we are a network of each other, but then you're top of mind if you need something, right? We're also very authentic in what is, what we're trying to achieve together. So I think it makes sense that you have to be still, like, as you said, it feels very surface level. But the authenticity can go a long way. So you sometimes get the guy who's calling from Ziggo or T-Mobile. He's very authentic with you that you're going to get a discount as long as you sign something with him. Which I hate, because they say, I don't need this value. I know you really want to help me and give me a discount, but I'm not buying what you're selling, and they just don't get it. And that's the part where I think the authenticity slides away. So you have to be a little bit more sincere and sensitive to that.
Yeah. You ever watched Glengarry Glen Ross?
No.
There's like this one scene that's really famous in that movie where Alec Baldwin's character goes in and gives this giant speech about selling.
All right.
It's become like I think it created it's a really good scene.
Is it the "Sell Me This Pen"?
No, that's
for Wall Street. Yes.
But I think that scene created an entire generation of really hardcore sellers.
Oh God. Yeah. The Wolf of Wall Street was also quite fun to watch. Those are the guys that are really not authentic. However, they're very good in providing value, I think.
Yeah. Jordan Belfort, just last time I heard about him, he got into the crypto space and made a scam coin, basically.
Why am I not amazed?
Yeah.
I have another one. So how do you get there? Utilizing events and online platforms. Do you get those? Hello, on LinkedIn.
Oh,
say, hello, I found your account. We have a lot in common. Let's connect. Okay, why? Why should I do that? But the ones that I like, who writes, hey, I found you via someone, and I thought that you have something, I don't know, on your LinkedIn that is very resonates with me. Are you interested in? So when they put it as a question and they tell me how they found me, I'm a little bit more, open to connecting with them rather than say, let's connect. Like, why should I have to do that? And I think LinkedIn is one of the best places to connect because I don't like going to events that much. We go to one event 1 year and for all the wrong reasons.
Oh yeah, definitely. LinkedIn's great. I also like it because it's focused. Like I don't spend much time there out of enjoyment, but it gets the job done. It's really focused as a social media network. It's like, okay, good. Everybody's here from the same thing, which is career advancement.
That's also
It's not so much of a melange as like if you go on Facebook, everybody's either. It's just the Wild West.
That's true. So I also like LinkedIn for that, but I really do not like sometimes how the guys are being authentic.
Oh, you don't like when they tell stories about how they got hired? Oh, I have on my way to a job interview, and the job interviewer seemed to be in a bad mood. And here are 10 things I learned about during that interview about human behavior. Every one of these posts reads like that.
I remember there was a girl who was like, I would like to thank the Ministry of Transportation and Roads of my country because they have allowed me to get a certificate in operating the automotive vehicle. And then she just got like a driver's license, but she wrote such a huge post that sounded so weird.
It sounded like when you're trying to pad a thesis.
Yeah. Oh my God, just squeeze out the extra words to make it sound professional. Yeah, that's true. Another one I have, it's called follow-up strategies. So this is the one actually that I like a lot. I listened to a podcast somewhere and the guy said every day he opens up his WhatsApp and goes to the last WhatsApp list. So when you see all your chats, he scrolls down and just messages someone every day saying, hello, you were at the bottom of my WhatsApp. And I thought we should, revive this, some sort of communication. And that's his strategy of like staying in contact with people. I do agree with him that sometimes I feel like, I should message that person I haven't heard a lot for a long time without making it awkward, and then sometimes I forget. But I think it's important to follow up on some relationships when you're building a network. Oh, remember we met 2 years ago. I thought about you when I saw this funny meme and hello, how are you doing? It sounds ridiculous, but is there a better way of doing it? But I think the follow-up is something that you need to do, even though if you do it once a year or twice a year or somewhere once every couple of years, but that consistency is pretty good and you can kind of start maybe interacting again.
Yeah. In my case, I'm really bad at keeping in touch.
I think consistency is very nice. Like the consistency and following up. If everyone's busy, right? You cannot think and sustain some sort of communication with everyone because it would feel like a second job. But with someone, if you build a nice relationship and you know why you did it, so that brings me to another point, which is clear goals. So when you have a clear goal why you want to network with this person, Robert, you're a copywriter and we haven't met in 2 years. And then I know if I hear something and I know the right person for the job, right, it wouldn't be awkward for me to just reach out to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're maybe a bad example because we talk to each other very often, but someone from like a very distant network, I think it's pretty cool to, still follow up once in a while, once a year, and keep in mind that that's, the goal of this relationship is like a professional network, let's say. Or you have the same thing with the hobbies, people who have, and I don't know, go to the gym together, right? All they do, they set a goal like, hey, we got to communicate with you. Only I'll follow up with you when we go to the gym. So you have a clear goal. You have a follow-up strategy. I'm going on Friday. Do you want to join? And and you're very authentic because you are going to the gym yourself. So you're going to be honest, like, why do you want to go there? Is it, I'm lonely, alone there at the gym. Let's go together.
So this one's from the Harvard Business Review. Research shows that most people prefer intimate conversations even if they're meeting you for the first time. So one networking tip is avoid small talk.
I think a good one.
I remember there was one time I used to, I was just walking down the street and a guy who wanted to get me to sign up for a charity, one of those dudes. He walked up to me and he didn't say, hi, would you like to sign up for this thing? He asked me engaging question.
You remember?
Yeah, I remember. He asked me, what's a memory that's very dear to you? And I was like, hi, why are you asking? And I give an example. He's like, I worked for the Alzheimer's and Netherlands Research Foundation. So he died it.
Yeah, that's actually a very good one, but also very weird. If someone would ask me that on the street, I would.
I think, but I think it's the success rate is higher with that
because it's a surprise, right? It's more like a communication tactic. I think it's called door in the face technique. When they just like give you this shocker, it's like, hey, what's your memory from childhood? You're like, what? No, no, that's a fun one.
From that same study, questions that worked is more questions of, instead of like asking what do you do, you should instead ask something like, what's the most valuable thing about your work? How are you most valuable as an asset? Or asking like, what problems do you want others to help solve? that sort of stuff. Instead of asking what is your current role, what roles and positions have led you to where you are today. That makes it more elaborate, and then you can talk about like their entire work history. And
It's about the story.
yeah, people won't give you anything if you don't breadcrumb.
It's also, I've heard another good one from the same question is, how did you get to the place you are now? So more like, tell me a story.
Yeah.
How did you end up being in your current position, rather than what's your position? But like, how did you get into your current role, starting from the beginning of your career? And then it becomes a whole story of this, how evolvement happened during someone's career. It's like, oh, I was a project manager, then I'm a marketeer, then I'm something else. So it's, I think it's also super fun. That's a good one. That's a good question.
I also ran into something, having read this, I realized so many people copy some of the templates in this because I've seen them on LinkedIn. Like one of the templates is, insert name. Your professional journey really stood out to me. I think we both heard that one.
Yes. Oh my God.
I'm very interested in building my career as a insert role.
This is some recruitment 101. No, but these are the most important ones, as I wrote down. So clear goals, follow-up strategies, find the right place. So LinkedIn obviously is the one where everyone is using. There's a German one as well. I heard Xing, I think it's called. That one is a good one. And being authentic. And I have one more which actually ties it into yours, but I think it is very much outdated, that I want to put in the cringe category. It's craft your elevator pitch.
Ooh.
Don't do that. That's the biggest flag. I think someone, when they come to you and they start citing their anything.
But it's funny to me, as many tips as we can give, these things will always change with trends. For example, the elevator pitch idea was unique, like I think 10, 15 years ago or something. And then everybody started doing it, and then everybody hates it. They hated everybody coming in with the rehearsed speech.
That's true.
It's kind of like when people try to tell you the psychology secrets, that will always work. But they stop working.
No linguistic programming. Buy my course.
Yeah. But you can always you can always talk authentically and about the idea, and it comes off more natural. And I think it, not to overanalyze our generation, but I think we respond better to off-the-cuff speaking than we do to presented styles.
It also feels more authentic, I think.
Yeah, well, this is the generation of the Twitch stream,
That's true.
They'll watch somebody talking without any idea.
The more weird it is, the better it is, the more engaging it is. I even have a nice category added as an extra, so books about networking and building professional relationships. But I'll get to that as soon as you... do you have anything to add?
No, I just want to mostly talk about that study. And I mean, I had a few tips in there, but keeping it much more informal is actually a good idea. And networking is... It's honestly, if you're thinking too hard about networking, you're probably doing it wrong. You should think about the other person as a person. Just talk to them like you would normally. I know that's not useful to introverts.
What's your tactic of networking? How do you network?
It happens to me accidentally, I think. I just go in and start talking to people because I talk a lot.
But you're very good at it. You are very good when it comes to meeting new people, which just like baffles me, because when I go meeting new people, I'm like, okay, this person, as soon as I have any type of information from that, I try to ask everything around the topic and see what I can, I have a goal. That's literally this list. Yeah, is how I do networking, because I need a goal. I have to understand what I'm trying to get out of this person, what interesting hooks or things, facts they can tell, so I can evolve that conversation. But if I don't have a goal, I'm just like not motivated to talk to people.
I've seen you talking to new people, and it's very rational.
Yeah.
It's very much like, not in like you're robotic or cold, but just you ask the very, very like, there's like a algorithm in your head with like questions,
Yeah, I have to, because otherwise I'm super awkward. I cannot just make it flow naturally. I need this list. As an introvert, I need this list.
I think that's, like people.
Fair, that's where we differ.
You know me. I'm the type of person who will sit around and meet new people every weekend, just like, hey, let's go hang out.
That's true. I'm quite envy of that. I have some books that I want to recommend as the last point. There's one book that is called Never Eat Alone, but by Keith Ferrazzi. So it emphasizes the importance of building genuine relationships and providing value to others. Offers practical tips on networking, turning casual connections into meaningful relationships, and achieving success through a strong network. And I'll give you a great example. While I was in Lithuania, I signed up for a dance class because I had nothing to do in the evenings. And I thought, okay, I'll just spend one evening a week, just go to dance class.
Right.
And I went to dance class, and there was the couple who were the teachers. They're a little bit younger than I am. And I just went to class number 1, 2, 3, and I just messaged them before I left. So I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to go for just a little bit of a drink. Do you guys want to join? And they just joined me randomly to like in a restaurant to have a few drinks and just talk. And then in the end, some of my friends signed up to their class who were with me there. And we were having a conversation where I'm going to help them a little bit to promote their dance school in my city. And it was from what's just genuinely supporting and liking what they do and just asking, say, hey, do you want me to help you? Because I have a skill that might be beneficial. So yeah, it's again very, I think, important to reflect back of how you generally want to build those network and relationships. Another one I have, book number 2, is How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is like a very famous.
Yeah, also is really popular.
Yeah, Dale Carnegie. Everyone knows him as the god of marketing and communication. So this is a classic that provides fundamental principles of engaging people skills, building lasting business relationships, and focuses on genuine interests in the human psychology. And the last but not least, Give and Take by Adam Grant. So it challenges the traditional notion of success by highlighting the power of giving a professional kind of, giving in the professional world, how to deliver that value, introduces concepts of givers, takers, and matchers, and argues that a generous approach can lead to long-term success. So sometimes you want to give because you want to give, and you want to take because, well, someone's offering you something.
My tip is, in terms of networking, read autobiographies of comedians or musicians.
Ooh, why?
Well, when you figure out how they got into the business and how they talk about that stuff, they have like really interesting stories. And it's always in a strange roundabout way that they get their start.
Sure, they have to get their gigs somehow.
They're just interesting to read. You kind of learn more about how they engage with people.
That's a good one.
Like, I remember reading Ozzy Osbourne's autobiography. That was a wild ride.
What's the highlight?
Dear Lord, I don't think I can say it on stream. It's everything that's popping into my head is very NSFW.
Gotcha. So people should go check it out somewhere. Perfect. I have, there's a media announcement that we're dropping the last part, which is the joke.
Yeah.
Because we think it's kind of not landing well.
They're not funny.
Also, they're not funny.
Forcing a joke is always a bad idea.
I kind of agree with you. Sometimes I think they land pretty well, but then probably it's just in my head.
Also, backloading a podcast is a strange idea anyway.
Good. So thank you everyone for listening. This was episode 10 about any type of networking and how to do it correctly. And we even got some comments on TikTok, I think, last time. So that was very, very fun. So some people responded not in a weird way, and they were actually quite supportive and funny. So appreciated that.
And look, not everyone's a Cybertruck fan.
That's also true. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy until next time.